Hello, beautiful people. Look who we have here, the wonderful Jennifer Doran at psychicmediumjenniferdoran.com. But don't worry about memorizing all that because it's going to be on the screen and in the description box below. And we are, with the help of my lovely son, Erik Medhus, who's on the other side, going to interview a special guest. His name is, really weird, Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard, is as he's affectionately known as. He was born in 1911, died in 1986. He was the American author and founder of Scientologists, a very prolific writer of pulp science fiction and fantasy novels in his early career. In 1950, he authored the multi-million book bestseller Dianetics and the modern science of mental health and established organizations to promote and practice Dianetics techniques. I guess that's a long subtitle, but it is. Hubbard created Scientology in 52 after losing the intellectual rights to his literature in Dianetics in bankruptcy. Wow, I had no idea. He doesn't strike me as a very good, bye Maria, businessman. He would then lead the Church of Scientology, variously described as a cult and a new religious movement or a business until his death in 86. Questions for L. Ron Hubbard. Hello, L. Ron. What does he look like? Tell me about his energy and his.
Oh, his energy, he actually does have really great energy. It's for whatever reason, his aura feels kind of pinkish to me. I don't really know what that means, but what does he look like? His energy kind of has some pink to it. But it's just funny, like the, bear with me, everybody, today. I have a little bit of a headache, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to
Everybody
work.
send her healing energy.
Won't you be my neighbor? Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, wow.
So, like, he's like supposedly said, like, look for the helpers, like, I don't know if he's actually really the one that said it, but you look for helpers, like people who are there to help. And this guy, Lafayette, he really does have the feeling of wanting to help humanity. Uh,
Oh, that's nice. So the
yeah.
color must be love, heart.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Oh, that does make
I
sense. Yeah.
guess green or pink. I don't know which one is which, but which one does what. But I think it's about compassion and kindness. So that's cool. So Elron, is that okay if I call you that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think most everybody did.
Yes.
I got into Scientologists to help to learn how to manage my practice as a business.
Hmm.
That was how they lured me, well, how they got me interested temporarily, very briefly into it. What was the original intention behind the creation of Scientology?
So and I didn't know anything really about Scientology. I really had no idea what their beliefs were, nothing. But, and please, whatever. I'm just giving the messages. But most organized religions get tainted. No matter how good the intentions are at first, there's some sort of tainting, power, control, greed. There's something happens. And so this definitely did happen here, is what he's saying. The original intention, because really there's a lot of the information was right that he had, and not 100%, but a lot of it was right, and just trying to get the word out there, just trying. There's always that confirming my language thing that happens only with you
Every
usually.
once in a while it does. It's so
Yes.
weird.
It's very strange. So his intentions were good. His intentions were to help humanity. His intentions were to widen people's perspectives, help them remember where they'd come from, is what he's saying his intentions were. But it did get tainted and twisted.
The main thing I got out of it was my first experience learning about the possibility of reincarnation. So I
Mhm.
got that benefit out of it. Did you genuinely believe in the principles you created, or did your views evolve over time?
No, he genuinely believed in the reincarnation, that we were eternal beings. There definitely is a lot that he really believed. And he says, with anything, stuff evolves over time.
Yeah.
You plant the seed and it grows. And so he did evolve and grow, but the core, like the reincarnation, the eternal being that he says he kept, he was supposed to remember it. It was part of, Scientology is a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, it
It,
is.
it was
Especially
supposed
a lot
to,
of celebrities like Tom Cruise, for example.
yeah, yep. And it was supposed to be here, and he was the vessel that was to bring it.
Okay. So there's this thing when you get up into the higher levels called the Ring of Fire. And people who are studying this level have this briefcase. It's very secretive and it's handcuffed to them. And what is a ring of fire? To me, I bet you it's some reference to how humanity had to get through some horrible cataclysm, some destructive force, but we survived it. And that there's a lot of trauma or Ingrams, as you would call it, Ron, surrounding that event. Am I off or is it still a secret?
Oh, yeah. So there's still very much secretive energy around this. So what he is showing me is you know, as far as in earthly terms, human terms, this is a goal. It's something that you can see, that you can strive for, to get this knowledge, to keep going, to keep learning. It's part of I guess, cultish energy. Creating that is like, oh, this ring of fire, what's in this briefcase? Like that desire to know.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a hook. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, there is a bit of a hook there.
Well, I mean, if you want to help more people,
But
maybe you have to have a hook.
oh, 100%. Yes. But there's also, and this is the only thing that I caught a glimpse of when you were asking it, because whatever's in there is still kind of private and secret, but there is something extraterrestrial.
Oh,
There's some extraterrestrial information connected to this,
yeah.
whatever this ring of fire is.
Oh, wow. I think it's some galactic war.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, something galactic. Yes, something,
Interesting.
yeah.
So, how much of Dianetics and Scientology was inspired by spiritual insight versus psychological theory? I mean, how did you come up with this? Did you come
So,
in, were you born with this knowledge
yeah, well, no,
or what?
prior to this lifetime, yeah, it was part of his life path that he would have this. Now, us being eternal beings and reincarnation, he says, I'm not the first one
Of course.
that discussed any of this. This is
Right.
not, I did not, create this belief. It was already here. He just was really, a big part of it was that somewhere along his childhood, teenage years, something like this, he got, shown the information again, or somebody mentioned reincarnation, or it came up in his life and it triggered. It's like, Eric's making a joke, like a sleeper agent.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like, you're
Oh,
just living your life, and then, something, the code words, you hear them and you go, and
good
something
word
happened,
catalyzes you.
yeah, to open up his kind of memory, set him on the path of doing what he was here to do. But what he was here to do was bring Scientology. So taking these theories and these ideas that had already existed, he said, and like honing them to what Scientology is today. But it did, he said it evolved over the treatments and over the years and stuff, and things changed, and other people changed it that got involved.
Yeah.
Other, you know, there is very much this feeling from him that he got the ball rolling and took it for quite a while, but that it's been taken beyond what his intentions were.
Okay, that was the next question. Do you believe the Church of Scientology today reflects your original vision?
No, it does
How
not.
close is it to the original?
Hey,
80%?
yeah, it's so fun. Did you just say 80%?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
that's
did.
yeah, that's exactly what he said. About 80% is his vision. But the problem is like with a lot of things, that 20% can be louder than the
Oh, yeah,
80%.
exactly. Silent
So
majority.
some of the, bad press and the bad stuff from it comes from that 20%, which, any entity that has any sort of power, there can be greed and power and people seeking it, and they taint it. That energy taints things.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you feel like it's a cult?
It has a cultish vibe, absolutely, he said. Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Is that by design on your part, or did it just get away from
It
you?
got away. It got away.
Okay. All right. Do you think that you said like you were activated, maybe it's kind of that kind of feeling when you were a teenager? Did you have some sort of ET implant, some alien implant that was activated, or did the
No, no,
ET download information to you and awaken you?
what he said, it was there. It was there before. It was like in his subconscious, because this really was his plan. It was his in his contract to do this.
Oh, I
So
see.
it's not necessarily extraterrestrial. It was just that whoever introduced him to the concept of reincarnation is really the big one,
Okay.
that he's saying. Whoever introduced him to it along his life, it's like you ever just hear a piece of information and it's like I have to know more about this. Like I
Yes, it was that.
it's like that sort of energy. Um, he also his concepts or the way he delivered information, and I don't know any other better way to put this. He was very smart,
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
okay, when he was here. And so the critical thinking, the debate kind of energy, that sort of thing, but not everybody's like that. So some people follow along or are a bit more gullible or will believe things without the critical thinking. And
Oh,
that's kind of some of that energy got in here. And so some of his beliefs that he wanted to be out there have been used to manipulate other people.
yeah. Well, some people looking for another way or belief, sometimes they're desperate and they've been through a lot of shit. And
Yes.
sometimes those people are more gullible because they just want to grab onto
Yes.
anything that could possibly
Yep.
make sense. So maybe it's that
Yes.
it's not that they're not smart. It's just that they're so desperate to grab onto
Well,
anything.
he had to have been close to genius level because
Oh, I bet.
he was definitely in the top percentage of intelligence as far as people go,
Yeah,
just in general,
I bet. Were there any other personal experience that shaped your desire to found a new belief system?
So
Anyone?
he had very vivid dreams or very vivid daydreams, or so there was some. I will say he's saying it wasn't conscious extraterrestrial, but there were visitations that he had, but
Mm.
incredibly vivid. I guess this is why maybe he was so good at the what do you say, science fiction, like the writing, and
Oh
he was
yeah.
very creative as well.
Yeah.
And so this also helped, like he, to take in. Oh, what am I looking at?
Wait, I have this thing that he it's like an extraterrestrial city.
Oh yeah.
His
Okay.
painting. Anyway, don't want to make y'all too dizzy.
Yes, I
So
know.
what was that inspired by, Ellen?
So there is some extraterrestrial communication, although the awareness of it happening while he was here, I do feel is very, very limited.
Okay.
So there's, guidance. I would say this feels like guidance from extraterrestrials that were incarnated on another planet while he was incarnated here and getting information downloaded and so to speak while he was here. Um,
Okay.
but to take these concepts and create what he did while he was still here before he left, you have to be a bit of a visionary,
Oh
which he
yeah,
was. Yeah.
absolutely. Have you reincarnated yet? Speaking of reincarnation.
Oh no. No, he is not. He was kind of like, oh no. Like
No way, man. Okay, what
no.
about a previous life that maybe it could be a past or future life that most influenced your
So he
Ron Hubbard life?
was some sort of like a traveling reverend in another lifetime with the Bible. So
Oh,
this
okay.
is not his first religious lifetime. There's actually, he says, been quite a few past lives where he was a religious figure.
Okay.
Not always good, not always doing the right
The
thing.
Lord's work.
Yeah, not always doing the Lord's work, but looking like he was. Um, that there's something that feels kind of like horse and wagon,
Horse and buggy, horse and wagon.
yeah,
Okay.
traveling across the
Selling,
um
selling and so-and-so snake poison,
No,
snake
no,
oil.
no. This was like with the Bible, preaching the
Oh,
Bible.
okay,
This,
got it.
yeah, this actually feels like legitimate this time.
Okay.
What he's talking about, but very, very poor, very, living off the land, very hard life. He
Hmm.
only makes it into his about 30s.
Oh, wow. All right, did you ever struggle with doubt about your role or the path you were creating?
So, yeah, well, yes and no. It- yes, in the sense of being concerned over what would happen once he put it out there, like the direction other people would take it, but genuinely, genuinely, he believed in the information that he was giving.
That's good. That makes it difficult to have imposter syndrome when you fully
Mhm.
believe in what you're selling, so
Yes.
to speak. How did fame, if it did at all, and power affect your ego and decision making? Maybe it didn't. I don't know.
And it might just be where he's at now, but he's not showing me a whole lot of that. It just feels like money wasn't like a huge motivator. It wasn't greed. It was genuinely about wanting to help humanity. Although I do feel like there was money and there was
Oh yeah,
power,
yeah, he
but
was quite rich. I don't know,
yeah,
but I mean, he sold like 100 million copies of the
yeah,
book alone. But then he had to
yeah.
help, so whatever.
But
Why did you become bankrupt, by the way? What happened?
bad
Okay.
business decision, or not keeping his intellectual property or something that just feels like
Mhm.
paperwork stuff he should have done, he didn't do.
Yeah.
Now, he said that was part of my contract.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was supposed to happen I guess he says to yank my chain a bit, to get me in check a bit, to pay attention.
Makes
Um,
sense. Makes
yep.
sense. Were you aware of the impact your leadership style had on followers and critics alike?
Not to the extent that it ended up being. Not while he was here, of course, now he is.
Yeah.
Can we ever really know the extent of impact we have on anybody, really? Do you know?
No, no.
And when you're on a huge scale like he was, no. I
Especially
mean,
there's free will everywhere. I mean,
yeah,
you cannot predict
yeah,
where life is going to go when there's billions of other people that
yeah.
can possibly affect your life with free will. Maybe not billions, but close to. Anyway, looking back, do you feel any responsibility for the controversies and legal battles surrounding Scientology?
No, no. And I will say, he is kind of, he likes the debate, that energy of,
Oh,
so, there's this feeling of having to push the envelope to expand.
yeah.
So, no, he's okay with this. He's okay with this kind of energy for
Okay.
it.
So
It's
you
not
had this.
perfect by any means. He says it's not perfect, but
No.
it's supposed to be here.
Now you had this big criticism for things that when you were unconscious, like in a dentist chair on laughing gas, or when you received electroconvulsive therapy, your psychiatrist, or on drugs that a psychiatrist would put you on, that you
Mhm.
were very susceptible to something called Ingrams. Like if it's like if the doctor was dentist was saying wow, this person is fat or whatever, then that would be embedded in your soul and you would sort of, so it's the power of suggestion, I guess I'm looking at. So you really were against psychiatry. You had big battles against that and dentists too. So can you talk about that? What's your view now?
So, well, he says now, of course, I see that they really do those things need to be there. They need to happen, but everybody should be aware of those subliminal, subconscious, whatever, that can happen. That sometimes your thoughts and
I
beliefs
agree.
are put there by others. And
And as
yeah.
physiologists, you get put under, and the doctors are talking, and they talked about something that will maybe create a phobia, unexplained phobia, if
Mhm.
you come to. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
but he said this is honestly part of the human experience that really can't be avoided not everybody can avoid this potentially happening.
right. But he was very much against psychiatric drugs. Do you still feel that way? Like
No,
Adderall
no,
and
no, he says they do serve. a purpose for some.
Okay.
They really do. So in that regard, he said I was human, you know. So this is something some people need, but he said I still do believe that they're overused.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Shed any light on the mystery surrounding Shelley Miscavage's whereabouts and well-being? Let's like there was the head of Scientology, something Ron Miscavige or something like that. Miscavige. What happened to her? She disappeared? Do you know anything about that?
He says it was by choice.
Oh, is she on the other side, Eric?
Eric says no,
Okay. Maybe she's in
no.
hiding or something. What's going on
She's,
with her?
yeah, she's still hiding. She's still hiding or like disappeared herself.
Okay. Well, that's
Uh,
possible.
I do feel like there was maybe some death threats. Or
Oh.
she was there was some fear around this, but I don't feel her on the other side, and they did not bring her forward.
Was she against what her husband was doing as the leader of Scientology, or was she for it? Or no opinion?
No, I do feel though she had some disagreements
Okay.
in what he was doing.
What a diplomat you are.
Yes.
All right. What do you think of the way your story is told today in books, films, and exposés?
He says I'm okay with it because everybody is entitled to their opinion
True.
and their thoughts on things. Some of it is genuinely representing his story and who he was pretty well, and others are not. And
Okay.
and that's okay too. That really
I have
is
to look.
okay.
I have to look up some documentaries on you. That I
Yeah,
think that would
I don't
be.
know anything.
I
I don't
don't
know anything
either, but
about him really.
I'll look some of them up. How do you view the concept of Thetan, Thetans, Thetans, and spiritual memory now that you've transitioned beyond the body? Theta, I mean, I think it means soul. And I think spiritual memory or soul memory is what you're talking about, but I'm really not sure. So, and I think that's the higher levels, Theta 1, Theta 2, Theta 3, the briefcase thing, people,
Okay.
briefcase people. So, what's your concept of the Thetans and spiritual memory? What do you,
So are the Thetans the ones in the church that are at different levels?
well, it
I'm
could
sorry,
be a
I'm a
minor
little
client
confused.
too, but they go to different levels, theta one, theta two. But a thetan, I think that's the Scientology name for the soul. I'm not sure. You have
Okay.
to correct me. And that the soul, like through Ingrams that I talked about, has a spiritual memory that can be tainted by dentists and
Oh,
anesthesia
yes.
and all that stuff. I'm thinking that, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
So the Thetan, if it is about the soul, this is just the things that you're talking about are like the soul's DNA. It's all the memories, or the Akashic
Oh,
record of the soul. This is, it connects like that. I didn't know. I wasn't sure if you were asking about the levels in his church or the levels on the
okay,
other side.
I wasn't sure either.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think about that? You still feel that the spiritual memory resides in the DNA of the soul?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now that you are in the afterlife, do you have any insights into whether your writings about extraterrestrial beings were channeled truths, imagination, or a mixture of all channeled truths, imagination, or a mixture of both?
There's a mixture of both. A lot of it was channeled information, though. Yeah, a lot of it was
What
channeled.
percent would you say was channeled?
75.
And who were you channeling? Extraterrestrials or
Yes.
experts in, okay.
Yeah, extraterrestrials and spirit.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
extra. So when I say extraterrestrial, I am talking about extraterrestrials living a life on another planet currently.
Right. But there are some that have passed on and are in the other on the other side, right?
Yeah, but again, they're spirit like us. I mean, we can go to
Yeah.
other planets too. So,
Right. Yeah.
yes, there are some that have never been to Earth.
Okay.
So they might, in spirit, feel way more extraterrestrial than an aggressive Earther would feel.
Oh yeah, right, right. So what kind Who did you channel the most? These ones that never had a life before, or
You know, this is not my area of expertise
I
as
know
far
you
as like
hate
the
this.
race.
Hate it.
But no, it was all kinds. He said all there was different races. There
Okay.
were ones that have never been to Earth, and ones
A
that
mix.
yes, all kinds.
Duke's mixture. All
Yes.
right. Did you ever personally encounter non-human intelligences during your lifetime?
He said not that I knew at the time, but yes,
In retrospect, yeah.
in the life review he did. Yep.
Tell me about that. When you
They
were
were
living,
they were living as human. They were living looking like
family, friends, coworkers.
people connected to the church and the building, like kind of the beginning of it. Yes.
Oh, David Miscavige. That was Shelley's husband, the head of, I don't know if he's still the head, but was he ET? Yes, he
Mm-mm.
ET. Okay.
No.
What about now that you've crossed over? Have you had any encounters?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Any buddies? ET buddies?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, we all, but Eric's like all of us have, soul family members that have more extraterrestrial ties
Oh,
than,
I bet. I could
yeah.
probably point out some members in my own family. Okay, so what was your experience crossing over into the afterlife? What was that like?
He said I was ready to go. I was ready.
Yeah.
So peaceful, pleasant, warm. Just
Okay.
going. He says I did go into the light,
Okay.
seeing bits, flashes of his life as he goes, but
Really? It's
not
kind of
any
a
fear.
early life review, sort of a trailer to
Yeah,
your life review,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, yep.
That's cool. Does that happen very often, Eric?
It does. Just like the death and the parents and the experiences we have, we can choose how our passing is going to be. Some of us just boom, wake up and we're over there.
Yeah.
Some of us stick around here for a little bit, and that is part of what we can plan before we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Uh, have your beliefs about reincarnation of the spirit or the spirit world changed since your death?
So there's some, yeah, there's been some remembering, like, okay, like he said, I didn't have 100% everything right.
Okay, but pretty
So
close.
yeah, it was pretty close. It was some pretty
What
good
was it?
information.
What was one thing that you were wrong about?
So he says that and I don't, because I don't know really anything about Scientology, but it was a lot more fluid. Some of the stuff was really cut and he thought it was more cut and
True.
dry
Yeah, true.
than it ended up being, but I don't really know what he's specifically talking about.
So
But
gray zones.
it's a lot more gray than some of the details that
Oh.
he had put on it.
Have you met Eric yet, my son? Oh, go ahead. You were about to say
Yeah, so I was gonna say something because I keep seeing the flash of this. Did you ever watch the show The Good Place?
yeah.
Okay,
Guy from
so
Cheers? Yeah.
what was that?
With that guy from Cheers that yeah.
Yeah. So there's something I think in one of the first couple of episodes, and I haven't seen the show in years, but I don't even remember what it was. But they're talking about this one guy who had been like maybe taking drugs or something, and stood up one night and started rattling all this stuff off about the other side and how like so much of it was so right, and before that there wasn't really like there was a lot of
Yep.
misinformation. I
I
can't
remember
remember
that
the
one. Yeah.
exact.
I probably missed that one.
And so there is, I keep kind of getting a flash of that scene to me, meaning that a lot of what he was saying was pretty accurate about what was going
Interesting.
on.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. So have you met Eric?
Yes. Yep. They had met prior to this as
Oh,
well.
really? So what do you think about him?
They said as soon as my name got on that list, we hooked up.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, hope you didn't hook up.
Well, yeah, but
I know what you mean.
loves
So what do you think about my boy?
him.
Well, I know. I do
Yeah.
too. I love him more. So, is there anything that really almost nobody knows about you, Elron? It can be something quirky, cute. It could be something serious.
I'm nothing came to me immediately. So,
Okay, we'll go on. If it comes to you later, that's fine.
well, I don't, you know what? And as I said that, I don't know if you had like a thing about textures,
Okay, could
like
be.
material or feeling or like certain
Okay.
textures or very sensitive skin or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Lucas used to have that. A couple of my kids did. Oh, no tags. Definitely no
Mm,
tags. Do you believe your soul chose that lifetime with a specific karmic purpose? Well, we already established that's true.
absolutely.
What
Yeah.
was the karmic purpose, if you can distill
To bring Scientology here.
it? Okay.
The ridicule, the being laughed at, over because there was a lot of that.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. Terrible.
and to kind of overcome that. And this it needs to be here. There's some real beneficial information. It just I just kind of feel anytime there's like an organized something, there's
Yeah. Like
the
organized
feeling,
religion of any
yes,
sort. Like,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. What do you believe your legacy is today, both spiritually and publicly? God, the people who help with these questions are just so great. What do you
Um,
believe your
well,
legacy is today, spiritually, publicly?
so the Scientology, the core beliefs of what he set out to do, that's his legacy.
Okay,
And he is proud of it.
good. I
Yeah,
bet you are.
yeah.
Would you do
And I
any?
guess I'm gonna have to look into it because there has to be some. You said you were in it for a little bit. There has to be some really stuff that resonates. Is there?
Yeah, but then they started selling hard,
Yeah. Well, and that's where it
That thing,
turns. I don't
I
want to
did not
go.
like that. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make it to have
It's
good
become.
business practices for my practice.
Yeah. It's like a
And they just, wow.
multi-level marketing. It's like that sort of like there's like the
Yeah, like a used car salesman kind of
yes.
mentality.
Yep.
I didn't like
And
that.
that
What do
he
you say
doesn't
about
like.
that? Okay, right. Okay, good. You sure did have a thing for the sea. You have this ship flag. I think I don't know what it is, where people can go and go from level to level or whatever. You liked the ocean, didn't you? You must have had
Yeah.
life on the ocean.
Yes. Actually, yeah. He was saying he had a really, really great life sailing the seas, sailing, exploring.
Yeah, he has a lot of pictures with him with a captain's hat on. So it's
Yep. Yeah, definitely part of his soul's DNA, being on the ocean.
okay. A few more questions here. Would you do anything differently if you could relive this life?
No, he said nope, because anything that you feel is a regret in your life is just an opportunity to learn and do better. So he said no.
All of these deceased people say that really.
Yeah.
They don't have regrets. That's pretty cool. Do you have a message for current Scientologists, both in the public and in the organization? This
So,
I have two questions of that.
you know, just and this isn't just for the Scientologists. If you are following anything, any YouTuber, you're reading books that people have written about spirituality, about any of this. If you're not questioning at least some of the information you're being told, you might want to check yourself.
Right. Except channeling Eric, you believe everything.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just
If,
kidding.
if you're following something, 100% of it shouldn't resonate with you.
Okay.
Because even if you don't disagree with it, there should be stuff that's just like, yeah, okay, no,
Yeah,
that sort of energy.
I agree. I mean, some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I said, "What the shit did you say?" So yeah, I know. I don't even believe myself half the time. Well, not half the time, but is there something you wish people truly understood about your work or about you, Elron?
It just that, really all of this is bigger than any of us. All of it. It's all, about all of this. It's so much bigger than any of us. So yes, while he might be the founder or creator of this, it's not his. It's
It's
not
much
his.
bigger than him or anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what advice do you have for your own organization, especially in concerns or in addition in concerns to the fact that it's a kind of a used car mentality?
Yeah. So he said
And they had to do quotas and stuff. I think there's
yeah,
that now.
there's just nothing he said he can say. And there really are some very good genuine people left in the organization. And he would like to see some of the people who have the right direction in mind for this sort of step forward. But it is that way. Like sometimes those smaller percentages of people who are louder, they take over. And
Yeah.
because then the quieter people who may be more reasonable in this area just don't get together and step forward. And there could potentially be the chance that that shifts within Scientology in the next 25 years, that it actually shifts, you know, and gets more back to what he had
Envisioned.
wanted. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a whole life force of its own. It's
I believe it.
if one or two people pop out, other people just get in and take over. There does need to be kind of a clean
Yeah.
out, so to speak, of the power structure.
Do you like the person who's currently in power, whoever that might be? Could be David. I don't know.
Um,
Well, not like, I won't say that, but
yeah, because of course,
yeah.
whoever this is, and I don't know who it is. They're supposed to be there right now.
Okay.
It is part of the direction that it's heading to get it to where it needs to be. It's
Okay.
not a guarantee that over these next 25 years it will improve, but it's a
Okay.
possibility.
All right. So why the celebrities? So many celebrities. I can't name all of them. I know Tom Cruise, maybe Nicole Kidman, or I can't
So
remember. Why them? Because you had to be rich to be able to go through all these levels.
to go
Okay.
through the levels,
Yeah.
it's also there's like you know to be a really successful famous person actor, you have to be really dedicated and really, and like you have to have the energy of like, okay, I am gonna attain this goal, that commitment to something. And Scientology, he said, kind of breeds that energy too. Like you have to really like
Wonderful.
be, yes, and it
That's so
also,
true.
it has an intensity to it that sometimes maybe people who are actors are used to that intensity. They like the energy
Hmm.
of it.
And the goals, maybe they like the
Yep, and the
goals.
goals and the yes, yeah.
Like I'm going to get an Oscar. I'm going to go to level L three.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, there's something there that a lot of times attracts that personality because of the way they're, like they're focused, the focus, this, I got to get to this, I got to do that, I got to do these, and it draws a lot of famous people.
So
And
why is it so? Go ahead.
again, there's some really good, there really is some good um, stuff here. So, there's some good information. There's some information that people who want to be part of a religious community but have never quite found the right religion, that this makes sense to, because on a subconscious level, we all know reincarnation and eternal,
Yeah.
our soul being eternal is true. It's just deeper in there for some people than others. So, it resonates with a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Interesting. Why is it so expensive? Like one L level, I think, was like $50,000. Why?
That's greed. That is greed. I mean,
Is that
churches
what your
do,
intention was, or
no,
did this
no.
happen afterwards?
And churches are a business. They do need money to keep going.
Oh,
Money,
yeah.
having money, you can spread your word further. It's gotten too much. That it's too, which a lot of religions get that way too.
Yeah.
It's greed. It doesn't need to be this expensive, this
Okay.
big. The higher ups don't need to be raking in as much money as they are. Their facilities don't need to be as grand, but it also draws people too.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
um,
Do you feel at peace with the life you lived? And then I have one more question after that.
yes, he does.
That's good. I figured you would. Now, this is kind of a two-part question. What would you say to those who were harmed, and what would you say to people who were helped by your teachings?
So he was saying, like, for the people, because there are people who went bankrupt trying to do this.
Oh boy,
I mean, there are people who, yes, lost.
everything. I bet because
uh,
boy, they get on you, man. You got
yes,
to buy
they
this
do.
set of books, or you won't get to the next level. And this, that.
Yes.
It's
And
terrible.
and so for that, he says, there are some people who didn't need to have that experience. It was free will that got them there.
Mm.
But again, spirit, they look at it like everything is an opportunity to learn or to grow. Some people, it was in their contract to find this church and join it and lose everything, So for some people, it was part of their contract.
Yeah.
But nobody should go bankrupt
No.
trying to achieve spiritual enlightenment, trying to
Oh, I mean, what a
find your place. Nobody should go bankrupt doing it.
yeah, of course. Doesn't seem right.
Mhm.
Spiritual bankruptcy. Spiritual bankruptcy.
Mhm.
I bet that caused a lot of spiritual bankruptcy in some
Yeah.
people after that. So what about to those who were helped by your teachings? What would
He
you
just is very happy that it was there
yeah.
uh, for them, and that because it has helped a lot of people. There have been a lot
Yeah.
of people that have been helped by it. So yeah, for that he's happy that it was there for them.
Percent were helped versus what percent were harmed?
You know, there's a lot of people that were harmed by this. Um,
More than 50%?
no, no, but it's probably about just because it is quite tainted,
Yeah, right now.
so
Yeah.
it's probably around 50-50 of the people who find
Wow.
it that leave unhappy. So and so that's what I'll say. Not hurt, not necessarily hurt by
But
it.
but unsatisfied.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I just think they push too hard. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah,
really
well,
believe
that's that cult. That's that
what
cult.
it is,
And there is some like you
ultimately.
have to do this. Kind of like everybody's doing it. You need to achieve this. It is cultish. Yes.
Yeah, but they have quotas that each, even on the bottom rung of the organization, have to meet,
Mhm.
or else I don't know what. But yeah, anything else, Elron, you would like to say, or would you like to ask any questions, Jen?
So the only thing he said is when he created this, he didn't intend for it to end up being so elite. That
Yeah.
was not his intention. His intention was that this was for everybody.
Well, the book is inexpensive, so anybody can get the book Dianetics and
Yeah.
benefit from it
Yeah.
without having to join the organization. So you've at least gifted the society with a way to
Yeah.
benefit without breaking the bank.
Yep. Yeah, but he says thank you for your time.
Oh, you are so welcome. It's been an honor. Thank you,
Hey,
Elron.
do you know, like, was he known to be a nice person when he was here?
I don't really know.
I don't either.
I didn't hear anything bad about him.
Yeah.
Anybody who loves the ocean, I love them. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
great things about them to me. They like nature, etc. But I
Mhm.
never heard anything bad about him ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because he just has a very genuine feel.
Good. I like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just the path that Scientology has taken since going to the cultish direction has left people with a bad taste in their mouth.
Yep.
But that can be resolved. All
Yep.
right. Thank you. And thank you, Jennifer. You guys check her out in the description box below. And please hit the subscribe and the like buttons. Please. Pretty please.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye. Get some rest.
Yes. Bye.